So this is the Dunlap Lathe I just picked up. Previous owners had filled the bearings oiling mechanism with WD-40 car oil, which ended up seizing the pulley. As you can tell, it's really hard to turn it. So what I'm going to have to do is use a little bit of WD-40 to loosen everything. So in the restoration, this is just a starting. I'm going to fill up the oil reservoirs here with it. Hopefully it'll come all out of the shaft here. I'm going to be taking it all apart. For the ones that don't know, this particular model of Dunlop doesn't have bearings per se. It has a brass bushings, both double brass bushings in here, and the way you keep them basically running smoothly is you fill the oil containers, should be mineral oil, and it seeps out into the bushings on the side here. So I got this shaft unloosened with the WD-40, a little bit of WD-40 here, nut loosens rusted parts and all that, so all of a sudden this came already off. So I'll be polishing this. So you see the oil coming out on both ends here. I also got this one here to come out. Here you go. So I'll just pull it out a little bit to show you that there is another bearing. So you basically have two bushings, as I said, brass bushings here, which the shaft goes through, and then you have another bearing over here, which is quite industrial and quite rugged. It's an old one, but it's in very good shape. So I finally got it loosened here. This is the lock. So if you have to lock it, there you go. You could lock it for whatever reason. You know, if you need to change the strap or whatever. So this also works here. So here's the little washers. I finally loosened the washers here. So there's a double set. And this is what I wanted to show you. This is the big industrial bearing extra. So I'm not sure if you can see it, but you see the little here at the bottom. You see the little brass bushing. That you see the little shiny bushing. Well, it's in between there. Then when you put the mineral oil here, it goes right in between the bushing to lubricate the shaft here. So here's the tailstock, as I was saying. It's also in very good shape, structure-wise. There's just a piece here, I'm not sure what this was for. It was broken off. We can see the little welding mark here. The handle obviously was broken. The pieces are here. This was a makeshift handle, temporary one. I finally got it to loosen up with all this oil here. And as you can see, it works fine. Didn't have a motor when I picked it up, so what happened is I found this beautiful 1 horsepower. It's a Leeson motor. So here's the motor, 1 horsepower Leeson. I believe it's an 82 based on the serial number. Single phase, 1725 revolutions, which is ample strength for this lathe. What I like about this motor is that it's got vented front for cooling down, and it's got, I'll show you, I looked through here before I start taking it apart, I looked through, and it has a guard not to make dust go in. So basically you have the openings here for the air, and then you have the propellers in there, the turbine that turns to cool it down, and behind, I'll show you once I've taken it all apart, you have a faceplate that basically guards the coil, the induction rotor from getting dirt in there, which seems to be quite practical. The pulley's a nice size industrial pulley. I'm sure it was for a similar type of application. Have a automatic reset, but it's already incorporated. You get, again, the vents in the back as well for cooling. So as you can see, we're ready for painting here. I've taken it all apart. I've sanded it. I've hammered out all the divots that were all exposed here. I polished it with my little brush. Made the surface nice and clean and rough so that the paint will adhere. I just have a little bit of acid mixture in my jar here. So I'm going to dip the brush in and just apply it liberally on all of the greased up areas and the rusted areas of this lathe, and then just wash it down with a little bit of water. Should eliminate all of the hard to reach areas. We're at the painting stage. I'm going to give it a nice little shot of primer so that we cover up all the rust. I did 2 coats of primer. I'm going to let it dry properly, maybe overnight, and maybe tomorrow we'll do the final coat of vintage green. It's high quality paint and it's vintage green. Put my mask on and I'll show you. Two coats of primer, 2 coats of vintage green. It's done. I gotta wait for it to dry so I could, I'll wait I guess 24 hours, tomorrow sometime. I'll put a clear coat on it and then we'll go to assembly. I just wanted to show you a quick, just a motor. I didn't have a chance to put it together. It didn't fit on the table on my paint station with the rail and the headstock and the tailstock. So here it is. It's all done. Again, 2 coats. It's wonderful to have one of these tables, but it's not big enough for this project. So here's the Leeson, 1 horsepower, all finished. I just put the clear coat on it, so I don't want to really touch it, but I just wanted to show you. I put some nice little decorative performance red accents on the 2 ends of the motor. So right now we're at the final stage of the assembly of the Leeson motor. I even re-put back the label with some contact cement so that you get all the specs on the motor. This is the rotor, so I have to put the rotor back in with some grease. These are the bearings, as I mentioned, so the rotor's all cleaned, as I showed you. The fins are painted so that no debris will stick to it in the operation. So let's start with the end. I put the baffle in also so that the dust doesn't go back in, so it's all nicely cleaned and put back in. So here we go. We're going to start putting some grease around the bearing, as I said, the most important part. But make sure you get the good bearing grease, which can withstand temperatures of 540 degrees Fahrenheit. It's specially formulated for wheel bearings, and it's resistant to acid and water, of course, because of the oil. So I like this when I use it on a lot of the projects. The make doesn't matter, it's more of the quality. So just you liberally put it on the grease on the bearing. Should be done regularly. This is the bearing that's going to go in the housing. So basically all of the weight is basically suspended with these 2 bearings. So I do the inside of the housing as well, because it's a little bit of a pressure fit in here. Then there's a little pressure ring that you put in that we took out. It's this little ring here. I do the ring as well. Again, grease the other end generously, nice amount. Do the bearing here as well. Putting the wedge, so when you tighten it, it doesn't turn. Put it leveled. Look at this. Very, very nice. So here it is. This is the final version, finished Dunlap Lathe, restored to its old glory, as I like to say. Just because it's old doesn't mean it's not useful. So as you remember, the 1 horsepower Leeson motor is going to be here for a long time. It's going to give me a lot of torque, a lot of power. It's more than enough for this lathe. Freshly painted, all up throughout, clean. Give it a couple of accents, red accents, new handle over here, and put some stock in to see how it's going to go. So here's the moment of truth. Let's start it up. There you go. It's so quiet that I can even speak while it's turning. Wonderful. Very happy with it. Very, very happy with it. I couldn't be happier. So all this to say, I had a blast. This was really fun to do, and I want to thank you for the opportunity to share this wonderful experience with you. Thank you very much for watching.